I'm talking about my lived experience for 34 years now, and nothing beat 34 years of experience.
Politicians that invite you, give you an opportunity to share what you just shared.
Who are Israelis and who are Palestinians? You have to be diplomatic about it, and you have to understand, read the room.
You there,
Yeah.
Palestinians have an experience,
Right.
and they're like, you can't talk about that.
So you hear a lot about these things on CNN, but definitely not hearing it from people who look like us.
Hold on a minute, shut that down.
Yeah. Even if what you're sharing with them is absolutely 100% true, but you don't want people to feel uncomfortable with it. And so we have these conversations. Some conversations we need to have between us. But within the Jewish population, you have the Ashkenazi, African Hebrew Israelites, and Psalms 83:4, it says that, it said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation so that the name of Israel would no longer be in remembrance.
Right.
So everybody got a hand in trying to hide the truth to keep us suppressed. Once you know who you are, you know whose you are, then you start moving different. In Israel, people are like, is black people in Israel? We say, yes, black people in Israel. Israel is part of Africa, so the same way
I have two brothers from Dimona here, and we're going to interview them. You already know my brother, my friend, Joachim. You know him. He has already introduced you to our brothers in Dimona, Israel. He's all went over the faith, the walk, and the way. But we have a brother visiting. I mean, he's fresh from the plane into my studio. I heard that you are the diplomat. That's what they call you.
If that's what he said, then I'll take it.
Okay. He said, man,
I'll take it.
He wear many hats, but the diplomat is one of them.
Tell us your name. Tell us what it means.
Well, big bro, before I even get into the name and what it means, I always like to give all honor and praises to the God of our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Praises.
But also to the God of our fathers in this dispensation of time, who I recognize that seed continue to move through my father, his father, his grandfather, the Honorable Ben Ami, the Honorable Prince Shaliach, and all others. So, I always got to start with that first.
Okay.
And then I get into my name, because if it wasn't for them, then I wouldn't even be here. So my name is Asriel.
Hold on, we gotta slow down. Y'all saw that? He was very diplomatic. This brother is only 34 years young. And that's what I'm talking about. That's how you get into stuff. See, most of us on TikTok at this age, rambling off, doing crazy stuff. He is giving honor. And I really appreciate you setting the record straight. So set me straight if I'm going awry every now and then, but go ahead.
So my name is Asriel. It means that Yah is my happiness and one who has been approved by Yah. Some people refer to him as God, but we refer to him as Yah. So that's the name that was given to me by my father, whose name was Bachur Yah, which means the man, the person of God or of Yah. So I'm just continuing that seed.
Man, awesome. So now let's get to why did you come and grace the States? And I really would like us to unpack it, because y'all, you got to understand, what generation are you?
Third generation.
Okay, so right along with your.
Oh well, yeah.
So y'all
2 years older than I am.
Okay, did y'all play basketball together?
We had to.
What?
We did everything
y'all
together.
Balling together.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh my goodness, that's what I'm talking about. All right, man, that's good to know that you all grew up together. Yeah. Wow.
Not only did we grow up together, I mean, that's our entire generation, is like that. And we were the first ones to actually matriculate through the entire all the educational institutions of the community. I'm talking about from pre-K all the way to 12th grade and everything in between. So we're talking about playing ball together, and we're talking about studying together, and we're talking about extracurricular activities afterwards, and we're talking about going to the national lunch together. They'll take us from school over to lunch, so we have an entire communal lunch for all of the young people that we go and participate in, and fathers and sons, and all of these events. So like when you see us, we spent our life together.
Wow.
To get from pre-K basically up until 12th grade.
My understanding that you came here to go to do something in Washington.
Yeah, so part of my trip each time I come here is I want to go up to the Congressional Black Caucus, amongst a lot of other things that I do. In the Congressional Black Caucus, every year they have the annual legislation conference. And that conference is basically bringing all the great minds of our people together.
Really? You got to unpack that, because that's something I never knew that.
Most people think that they're only coming together to talk about legislation, right?
Exactly.
Because we're talking about the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation.
Right.
But it's way more than that. You have all of the greatest minds, like I said, from all fields. So you have, some preachers there, people from the clergy, then you have the businessmen there, businessmen and women, then you have the people who work up on the hill, you have the entertainers, you have your sports stars, everybody who's considered something in Black America, they come, and then you also have it open now to Africa. And so I was just the one who was representing our people over in Israel,
really?
The African diaspora in Israel.
Okay.
And, just coming together to be able to be in these rooms to share the good news from Israel. Because I noticed that when we talk about Africa and the diaspora, for some odd reason, we jump over Israel actually being part and parcel of that, and people don't even realize that Israel is just as much Africa as any other state on the African continent. The only thing that separates Israel mainland from mainland Africa is the Suez Canal. But, they give it another name also, the area, the Middle East, and all of these political terms that were given to the region. So it calls you to have a disconnect, right? Between Israel, the continent, Africa, the African people, our existence there. So even when I'm bringing the good news about the communities there in Israel, people are like, there's Black people in Israel?
I know. We still
yes, Black people in Israel. Israel is part of Africa. So the same way you have African people in other places. But I know what happened though, big bro.
Tell me.
What happened was they needed to disconnect Israel from Africa.
Right.
Because that's the only way that they could be able to then give you a false impression about the people who the Bible is speaking about. When you speak about the Israelites, when you speak about the Canaanites, when you speak about the Egyptians, when you speak about all these people. And so if in your mind they manage to plant a seed in there to say, okay, these are different people from the people that you may have been reading about in the Bible, then you wouldn't be able to see yourself in the story.
Exactly.
But when we change the narrative in regards to the Afrocentricity of Israel and where Israel actually sits on the tectonic plate of Africa,
right?
And the culture of Israel and the culture of the people who resided there and the skin color of the people, then it becomes real. To people like me and you who talking about it's not no pie in the sky. You won't be able to bring us Caesar and say, okay, this is Jesus. Right. We see past that. And so that's why I try to help my people to understand here is that let's see past what we've been conditioned to think, right? And let's rethink this whole thing through. And so that's part of my job when I come out here for the Congressional Black Caucus.
It's to educate other Black people that Black people exist.
Not only that Black people exist, that this is us. That when you talk about the Bible, when you talk about the people of Israel, when you talk about Israel itself, we are talking about us. We're not talking about some estranged people who we just happen to have some connection to. Because the old story, the old saying goes that Black people who were in America, because they stripped us of our identity, of our culture, of our traditions, of our names, of our mores, of our folkways, we had no identity after coming out of slavery.
Right.
And so the only thing that we were able to then connect to were the stories in the Bible that was talking about the enslavement of the children of Israel in Egypt. And so we kind of connected with that narrative because we were enslaved in America. And we said, okay, well, this is something we could connect to, but we don't necessarily have a real ethnic, genetic, historical, cultural connection to this, which is absolutely untrue.
Right.
We didn't adopt nobody else's identity. We didn't usurp anybody else's identity. We came back into the knowledge of who we are. And so just like when you read in the Bible in Psalms 83:4, it says that, it said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation so that the name of Israel would no longer be in remembrance.
Right.
And they are confederate against us.
Yes.
So everybody got a hand in trying to hide the truth to keep us suppressed and keep us away from our identity, because we understand that how important that identity is. Once you know who you are and you know whose you are, then you start moving different. And that's going to cause an awakening, which we see right now in the midst of our people, an awakening that the powers that be are not interested and us being awakened to our identity, because then they know what kind of power that possesses. So as long as they could be able to keep us down, then they'll do so. But the fall of Esau is the rise of Jacob.
Right.
But only until Jacob starts to rise will Esau fall. So it's our time now.
All right. All right. We got next. Now, do they, and when I say they, I'm saying the politicians that invite you, do they give you an opportunity to share what you just shared? And if so, how receptive are they in what you're sharing? Like, oh, hold on a minute, shut that down.
Yeah.
You know, whisper that to me when I get over here.
Yeah. So, you know, I mean, you have to be diplomatic about it, and you have to understand, you know, read the room. You know what I mean? See who's in the room, see how people are feeling, because you don't want nobody to be feeling uncomfortable. Even if what you're sharing with them is absolutely 100% true, but you don't want people to feel uncomfortable with it and reject it, right? So just being intelligent about how you go about it is key. And so we have these conversations. Some conversations we need to have between us, and some conversations we can be able to have out in the open. But nonetheless, the conversations are going to be had. And, you know, we still working on getting out to the front stages, right? To be able to share this not only with the people who we're there with, but also with the masses of the people who they need to be able to hear this information. But right now, you know, slowly but surely, we kind of creeping up in there. You know, it's going to take a little time. It's going to take some work, but they're very receptive, not only to the idea of us being Israelites, but to the difference in framing, right, of Israel, of the geopolitics in that region, you know, of the internal societal issues that we have in Israel that people are not familiar with. So you hear a lot about these things on CNN, on MSNBC, on Fox, and all of these, but you're not hearing it from people who are experiencing it.
Right.
And you're definitely not hearing it from people who look like us.
Right. You got that right.
So, you know, now we have the chance to be able to hit them with two. You're hearing it from somebody who look like you, who will give you the truth and nothing but the truth. And then you're hearing it from somebody who live it. So like when we talking about these things, I'm not talking about nothing that I heard from somebody that I read in a book only. I'm talking about my lived experience for 34 years now, and nothing beat 34 years of experience, or even 1 year of experience. Right. So, you know, it's something. They're receptive to it in a way, but at the same time, you know, because they don't know, then they have to be reintroduced to a lot of this information.
Now, like for example, when you have situations that's coming up and it's a little touchy, like Palestine. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you there, you got an experience,
right,
and then the Palestinians have an experience,
right,
and they're like, you can't talk about that. You can't talk about what you believe in the Palestinian government or wherever they're going through. Because you have your own too. How do you read the room when you see something that you may say is unjust? Right. Then you also dealing with some unjust.
So one of the things that are super important is to, again, first of all, reframe it. Okay. Because I don't accept the premise of what people say in regards to Israel, Palestinian Authority, Palestinian territories, and all those things, because I ask fundamental questions. Right. When somebody say Israel and Palestine, I ask them to define that for me, please. Who are Israelis? And who are Palestinians? People can't tell me.
People who live in the land, that's all they're gonna say.
Okay. But who live in the land?
Palestinians, the Palestinians and the
exactly.
They're gonna go, it's circular.
Exactly.
It's going around.
So that's why the conversation has to be framed again. Because when you talk about Israelis, in Israel you have 102 different nationalities. Right? So these people are coming from all over the world. You have every one of the world religions there.
And they all consider themselves to be Israelis?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So the Israeli population is divided as such, where you have 75% who are Jewish. Okay. Right? But within the Jewish population, you have the Ashkenazi, who are from Europe. You have the Mizrahi, who are from the Arabian countries. You have the Sephardim, who are from North African countries. You have the Ethiopians, Beta Israel. You have the Bnei Israel from India. You have the Igbos. You have African Hebrew Israelites. You have Afro Bedouins. Then you look at the others who are Arab, considered Arab.
Right.
Okay, in the Arab population, you have the Christian Arabs, you have the Muslim Arabs, you have the Arabs who are Afro-Arab or Afro-Bedouin, you have the other Bedouin, you have the Charkessians, you have the Druze. So all of these people are not, they're, and then you look in the Palestinian, on the Palestinian side, who are the Palestinians? Palestinian people are people who came, who migrated. Was a continuation. It's a makeup of people who had migrated during the British the British mandate and the Ottoman rule in the land of Israel.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Did they turn them into Palestinians? Were they Palestinians before?
So I'm going to that.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to that. So these are people who had migrated to the area, but then you had a significant amount of them who, with the Arab, what you call the Arab conquest, right? That caused all of North Africa and West Asia now to become Arabized, and we look at these countries as if they're native Arab lands, which in actuality they aren't, right? And we're not talking about that long ago. 635 is just 1,000 and something years ago, So in historical terms, that's not a lot of time ago, but nonetheless. So you had these foreign invading powers would continue to come in. So you had the Mamluks also, and you had the Crusaders, and you had the Romans, and you had so then you have all of these people who then came in. They brought their own people from wherever they came from as well, so they can be able to work, and obviously so they can be able to repopulate the areas. But specifically, just kind of narrowing it down to right now, during the Ottoman period, the Ottoman rule, which was from approximately 1,400 to about 1,000, from about 1,400 to the end of the First World War, which was in 1917, they had control of the area. And so what they did was they actually changed the migration patterns. So they brought a lot of Muslims from a lot of countries, all the surrounding countries, and then also Muslims who were European Muslims.
And they used to do that to bring them so that they can influence the locals, right?
Well, they just saw it as if that in their sense the land was underpopulated, right? And so this was called a vilayet, which is just another portion of land that's under their control, under their rule. But they didn't see it as nothing that was significant. Israel wasn't of any significance to them, and so they brought all of these people in there. And only later on, because during that period of time too, you had the Jews who were migrating also from Europe and from North Africa and others. But only later on in the 1960s did they actually come up with the nationalistic idea.
You got to slow down, because that was that was 1,000 years in 30 seconds. My head about to blow up. So, all right. So you said the Ottomans.
Yes, sir.
Are they in the area that we can call Palestine today?
So the entire area, right, which is also Israel and some refer to as a portion of Palestine, all of that, the name came from the fact that it was under the British mandate of Palestine.
Okay, all right, let's pause right there. So at this point, British is controlling this area.
That's right.
All right, now who's in this land? What they call themselves in this land while the British is controlling it.
So the British, when they controlled it and it was the British mandate of Palestine, then everybody in the land were called Palestinians. So that means that Jews were Palestinians. That means that those who had migrated from Sudan and from Eritrea were Palestinians. That means that the Arabs who were there were Palestinians. That means that the Europeans who were there were Palestinians. Everybody, just like in America. Whoever reside here and you have an American passport, then you're American, basically.
That makes sense.
Right. So everybody who resided there were Palestinian.
Okay.
The nationalistic idea of Palestine as a nation, as a people, was something that had only arisen in the 1960s, right? After they established it, yes.
Before the 48 Crusade, because that's what I call it, 1948 Crusade. The people there was identified by the British,
yes, sir,
as Palestinians.
Right. Everybody
who's there.
There's a video on YouTube with the second Prime Minister of Israel, Golda Meir. She said that she was considered a Palestinian. She held up. She said, I had a Palestinian passport.
Gotcha. All right. Now, does Palestinian, I just want to see, is that a breakdown of a name or a meaning?
So you have two theories.
Okay.
Right. You have the theory of the people who say that they're Palestinian because they trace their roots back to the ancient Philistines.
Philistines.
Okay. Right. Which is that in itself would be a problem, because if they trace their roots back to the ancient Philistines, the ancient Philistines were a Grecian sea people, European people. But the people who identify as Palestinians today, the majority, are Arab people. So like, that's like me saying that I trace my roots back to the Italians. Okay, but I come from Africa. So that's kind of a dissonance.
Right.
Well, that's the first one. But then the second one, they say that this is the actual truth. In 135 AD,
okay,
right, you had what was called the Bar Kokhba revolt. You had those Israelites who were in the land who were revolting against the Romans, right, from 135 to 137. They lost that war. That revolt was crushed. And so they renamed the Romans, then renamed the region, renamed the land Palestine then. And the reason, or Syria Palestina. And the reason why they did so was because they were trying to mock the people who had just lost the war, because they knew that the ancient Philistines, like we know Goliath and Delilah and all these people, these were actually sworn enemies of the Israelites. And so like we gonna rename the land, as a mockery to us crushing you all, and now you have to live in the land that is named after
your enemy. Man, now that makes more sense.
Yeah,
that definitely makes sense.
That's where it initially came from. Yeah,
because in all history, the victors always name.
Right.
That's right.
Whatever it is, I don't even know how they came up with the other stuff. Because if I'm winning, I'm renaming.
That's what happened.
That's why every time a nightclub gets shot up in a black neighborhood, they rename it.
Name streets that they want to give a different spirit to.
Yeah.
So it's nothing. I mean, it's not new. These things happen, but when it's not when the conversation is not based in historical and geopolitical fact, then everybody is able to say whatever it is they want to say. And whenever everybody is able to say whatever it is they want to say, then you oversaturate the conversation.
That's what they do.
Where people is like, man, I don't even know what y'all talking about. Whatever. They said it's this, so it's this. Just get out of my head, because I'm not going to really be able to understand all of this stuff. There's too many layers, but let's just pack it up. You know what I mean? Pack up so many layers that, once you peel back one, you peel back two, it's like, all right, forget it. I'm not going to even keep going through this right now, because, I don't know where it ends. The rabbit hole can go so deep.
Right.
Where you get down there and you get lost, you can't come back up. And so most people don't even bother going deeper. They just stay on the surface, and it's cool. But don't get into the conversation with this information that you just regurgitating when you don't even have the proper context, the proper understanding, the historical fact. Because it's not about feelings. Somebody said that facts don't care about your feelings. So however you feel, that's cool. But we talking facts, and this is the historical fact. Now we can take it and we can say, okay, well, some things needed to be changed. Some things may need to be revisited. They need to be understood, because I'm cool with Palestinians today as they define themselves. You can define yourself however you want to define yourself. Right. If this is how you feel that you are, and it's not only me. You have people now who are saying that, look, I feel like a woman, and you biologically a man, but I can't say nothing. Okay,
you're gonna work with them.
If that's how you see,
right?
Then there's nothing I can do about that. But when you change everything in such a way where you now want to push a different narrative, acting like this has been a continual thing for thousands of years, and it's based on a lie, it's hard for us to be able to kind of progress with the conversation at that point. Because if you believe the lie that you're saying,
right,
when I know it's not true and you know it's not true, but you standing on that, there's nothing I can do about that.
Deception.
There's nothing we can do about that. And you got to leave them alone at that point. You know what I mean? And but I mean, it's a conversation that could be had. You know what I mean? But it's and then I'll turn it back over to you after this. The conversation about that is too focused on the political aspect.
Oh yeah,
right. It's only politics.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But you have people who are involved. You have families who are affected. You have religious components. You have social ideologies that are involved. So like if you're only looking at it politically, then you're not going to be able to find your way out. Because on one hand, you have people who are in their minds, it's like, okay, look, according to our belief, we can't partition plan with nobody. Like I can't give you even 1% of land because according to my religious tenets, it says that this is holy possession. So like I don't have the right to be able to negotiate with nobody about what portion of land they're gonna get and what they're not gonna get. And so if that's the beginning conversation, then you have no way to be able to reach a conclusion with them. You thinking politically because you're thinking from a different premise, but these people don't think like you.
Right, I know that's right.
You know what I mean? So you trying to have a conversation with somebody that they're over there telling you like, bro, we can't do none of what you're talking about. And you trying to force them to either acquiesce or to conform. And they like, look, it ain't happening. So now let's go into there's no negotiation that could be had in a situation like that. And that's why you see the situation as it is today. Because you're looking at it politically and you're not taking these other components into consideration. And until you take those components into consideration, then nothing else could be done. And the last thing